achieved.
All right. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome into Studio Day Heffrey. Today I am rocking the straight out the shower hair flow. And today what I want to talk about is the individual matchups that I believe are most important to the outcome of Vikings Cowboys this weekend. Who's ready, baby? Okay, matchup number one. For me, I think this is like the final exam for La'el Collins. La'el Collins has been awesome this year. He's taken a giant step, which I did not see coming. La'el Collins has sort of established himself as a, to me, average right tackle in the NFL, but so far, halfway through the season, La'el Collins has been one of the best right tackles in the league. So, what do we have this week for you, sir? Well, we have your final exam. Because if you're an elite right tackle, you can handle all sorts of different pass rushers. What has given La'el Collins issues in the past? He has no problem with power. You could roll the mountain in here from Game of Thrones, and La'el Collins will choke that dude out. No problem. Power, not a problem for Collins. LC has had some issues with speed. And so now, enter Danielle Hunter. One of the best pass rushers in the league, and he is not your 280-pound variety. He's your 250-pound variety. He's your twitched-up super athlete, run around you, counter back inside. He's that sort of player. So for La'el Collins, to me, this is it. If you shut that guy down, there's nothing left to say other than your right tackle is awesome. La'el Collins versus Danielle Hunter. Matchup number one. Matchup number two. How about we just move over, let's see, right tackle, 1, 2, 3, 4. We move over 4 places on the offensive line, and we take a look at Tyron Smith. Guess what you get, Tyron? After being called for a couple of holds last week, you draw Everson Griffen, another one of the best defensive ends in football. I think I rattled Cowboy Nation a little bit this week when we did our Cowboys versus Vikings roster comparison, and I said they have better defensive ends. Robert Quinn's really good. Tank Lawrence is a bona fide superstar. Hunter and Griffen, it's even better than that combination. They may have the best defensive end duo in the league. Chargers might have something to say about that. Maybe the Broncos, if you go Miller and Chubb. There's a few of them, and the Cowboys are up towards the top, but I think Everson Griffen and Danielle Hunter is as good as it gets. So for Tyron, who's been getting called for some holds, some of them are phantom holds, some of them are real holds, but he started to let guys kind of get around his outside where he ends up having to give him a little Yankee yank, and you're going to get called for that. And those are drive killers. So for Tyron Smith, this is a really tough matchup. It's a really good matchup. It's one of the best left tackles in the league against one of the best right defensive ends in the league. LC versus Hunter. Tyron Smith versus Everson Griffen. Those are matchups 1 and 2 to decide who wins Cowboys-Vikings. Now, we move on. My next matchup to decide Cowboys-Vikings, Stefon Diggs against the world. Stefon Diggs, much like Amari Cooper, is one of the premier route runners in the sport. He is an outstanding route runner. He's sudden, he's quick, he's fast, he knows how to set guys up. And I'll be honest, I don't love the Stefon Diggs matchup against Byron Jones for the Cowboys. I love Byron Jones against your bigger guys, against the guys that he can really kind of out-athlete and just kind of jam them up and stay with them. I don't like him as much against the super sudden athletes, the smaller guys. And that's the way that Stefon Diggs plays. He's an outstanding player. Byron Jones is absolutely going to have his hands full. The good news is even if you lose that matchup, if Amari Cooper is actually healthy and he's out there, him versus whoever is guarding him is a bigger mismatch than Stefon Diggs against whoever the Cowboys have. And without Thielen, the good news is you can give Stefon Diggs a little bit of extra attention, so you should be pretty good in that regard. Now, I actually have one more on the offensive line. Connor Williams against Eric Kendricks. I know that sounds weird because I'm putting a left guard against a linebacker, but in the Cowboys run game, that's the matchup that you end up with a lot, is one of your guards getting to the second level, either after a double team or on a pull, to be asked to block a linebacker or a secondary player. And Eric Kendricks is outstanding. They have one of the best linebackers in football. They also have Anthony Barr, and he's a solid player. He hadn't been great this year, but Eric Kendricks is the guy. And Connor Williams last week was great on the move. He was great when he was pulling and in space and climbing to the second level at getting the job done. So Connor Williams against Eric Kendricks, Tyron against Everson Griffen, Lyle Collins against Danielle Hunter. That's a whole bunch of different matchups for the Cowboys offensive line that are going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's interesting because the Cowboys have been hitting a lot of big plays in the passing game. I know there's some people out there who just don't keep up with reality and think that the Cowboys are still dink and dunk. They're one of the better down-the-field passing teams in the league now, but the Vikings are ready for that. They have two outstanding safeties. So it's a really interesting matchup. I actually don't love this matchup for the Cowboys, but what I'm going to go with officially, because there is no Adam Thielen, they're down a really important player. It looks like there may be no Linval Joseph, their nose tackle, to try to clog up that running game. I'm going to go with Cowboys because they're home field, and I'm going to pick the exact Vegas spread. I'm going Cowboys 27, Vikings 24, in a really good football game. So I'm looking forward to it. Those are some of the big matchups to look at to determine who is going to be the ultimate winner of this game. I guess let me throw a couple other ones while the Vikings are on offense too, or at least one more. Because the Vikings right tackle, Brian O'Neill, really liked him in the draft. Broadus was a big old Brian O'Neill fan. He's played pretty well this year, but he's their right tackle, so he draws Tank Lawrence. Brian O'Neill in college was one of those guys that was an outstanding athlete, athletically, could move really well. You know what? Think Connor Williams in college. Outstanding athlete. But I don't know how he's going to hold up against Tank Lawrence power and Tank Lawrence technicality and having such a great plan, play in and play out on the rush. So I think that's another really good matchup to watch is Tank Lawrence and how Brian O'Neill holds up against that. Get to their quarterback, you win. If they get to your quarterback, they probably win. So it's a really fun matchup with a lot of good offensive tackles going against a bunch of good pass rushers. So we'll look forward to it. Cowboys 27 and Vikings 24. That's what I'm going with. And look forward to seeing you guys today at 2 o'clock on the G-Bag Nation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And, of course, be locked in every day to the G-Bag Nation 2 to 7. Check 1053thefan.com every day. You'll get my videos up there. You'll get Gavin Dawson's videos from his YouTube page, all sorts of goodness. And today in the comments, leave me your favorite all-time Minnesota Viking. Just for fun. I know this is mostly for Cowboy fans, but they're playing the Vikings. And Randy Moss is not allowed. That's a cop-out. That would be everybody's pick. Your favorite Viking in the comments. All right, love you guys. See you in just a bit on the radio.